Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of La Vida Baseball Live. I'm Julie Alexandria here in San Diego with Jennifer Mercedes in New Jersey and Ozzie Guillen Jr. hailing from Chicago. First of all, you guys, happy, I guess you could say, Baseball Monday, because Super Bowl Sunday is over. So that means baseball has the floor. How exciting is that? I know you guys watched. We're going to get into the Super Bowl in just a little bit, but I want to know, what was your favorite commercial? Jen, do you have one?
Yeah, it was the Paralympic commercial from Toyota. I thought that was such a really moving and touching commercial. They had a couple of them, but that one was the one that struck me the most. And Shaggy and Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher with the Cheetos. That was just like, yes, yeah. Whoever came up with that idea, who pitched that idea, it was one of those moments where it was like, guys, listen, I have an idea. That
song is a bop. That song is a bop, and it was brought back, and I was so happy to see it again. Like, my 90s child heart exploded into a million pieces. Ozzie, do you have a favorite?
You know what? That one was it, because I think that the actions that happened after in TikTok, people sharing it, I love Cheetos. The one that was interesting that I loved it, and then when I realized what it was, I was very confused. I love the Wayne's World and Cardi, but they were promoting Uber, and you're doing like restaurants. Stop charging them 30% for your food to be delivered. Like, it was just a confusing one, but it was cool. I was like, oh, Wayne's World, Cardi B. I liked it, but my favorite one was definitely the Cheetos, because I'm definitely going and buying it. So I always correlate those two, but that was my favorite one. I love Ashton.
My non-favorite was an insurance commercial for cars. I think it was called Cares or something, or whatever it was. And they were doing a play on sexual harassment at the workplace. And it was just like, so like, really, dude? Like, the guy's like, oh, but you wanted to see it. You had to see it. My big opinion. It was like, oh, it was so corny. It was so
dangerous. And again, another streaming service. We don't have enough Paramount. I think it's a game changer, but it was good. You know what? I don't know if it was a Super Bowl commercial, but I think the team at T-Mobile did such a good job with using the Tom Brady Gronk situation. And then they had a couple more using the players about the network and family. I was actually very surprised how good the commercials was. I thought it was going to be the worst year ever because of the economic situation, but companies were out there, doing their thing. So it was fun. The commercials were okay this year.
Yeah, they definitely made a play off of 2020 being a lemon and making lemonade, and they stayed away from anything too pointed and too political. My personal favorite was the Michelob Seltzer, which had Don Cheadle talking about being real, and then it cut to the very end where it was a voice actor voice-duping Christopher Walken, which was absolutely brilliant. One of my favorites, and the Cheetos and Shaggy, of course. But to bring it back, it is La Vida Baseball, so let's talk some baseball. On a sad note, the entire baseball world mourns the passing, incredibly surprising and untimely, of ESPN national baseball reporter and writer Pedro Gomez, who passed away unexpectedly yesterday. And it seemed this incredible, there was an incredible outpouring of support, not only from outlets, but also from baseball players and his colleagues as well. And that, to me, is a sign of a successful writer, of a legend, if the players have nice things to say about you, because so many times it's so hard to be a beat reporter, a writer, a commentator, because you get, completely raked through by the players. But this man had so many fans, and by all accounts was just a gem of a human. Jen, do you have any personal stories?
Not very personal, because I'd see him all the time right at the ballpark. Always had a smile on his face, always said hello. And he always made an effort to say hello to the Spanish speaking media, right? Because we're all part of the same clique, right? And so he'd always come over, hey everybody, how are you doing? Just always such a nice person. And it was so sad to hear the news last night. I was like, what? I kept looking, and then we all started texting each other. It's so sad.
Yeah. Ozzie, do you have any personal, had you ever worked with him?
Oh, I never worked with him. Do I have personal stories? Too many. Pedro's actually a guy that I would have on my cell phone on my list of guys that I would text and talk baseball with, complain to him, WTFs every time something weird happened. I'm getting goosebumps. My dad was shocked because we're celebrating. We're all big Tom Brady fans. and we were confused. We were hoping that it was like an online thing, when they kill someone. But when we saw that it was ESPN, it was like the timing, and we're like, he wasn't sick. What's going on? My father had talked to him a couple months ago. It was his son that's in the minor leagues. He was actually trying to play in Colombia, trying to see if he would play in winter ball. Pedro's been a big part of our family in the sense that Pedro's always covered my father as a player, okay? And when my dad became a manager, Pedro covered Ozzy, and Pedro covered Ozzy in Ozzy's biggest, highest points of raising the World Series trophy. Pedro was there the day that my dad was apologizing for his comments to the Cuban people. Pedro is Cuban, so a very awkward situation for Pedro to talk about his friend and then explain to him, where Ozzy was coming from. Ozzy was one of the first people that he apologized to was to Pedro because of the friendship. He even said it in the press conference. I'm apologizing because my comments hurt people that I know as personal friends. Pedro Gomez flew to Venezuela to visit my godfather, Ugi Urbina, in jail. Okay, when no one would give him a chance. Ugi's in jail, and Pedro says, I need to go down there and talk to Ugi, not to clear Ugi of all of what he had done wrong, but to understand what Ugi was going through and to explain what had happened. He had been in Venezuela with my father where there was a tragic mudslide where many people were killed. That was Pedro. Pedro was a guy that was there for the good times, the bad times. You text him. He talked to you during the Houston situation. We talked a lot to Pedro. I know that he was, wanted to break the story the right way because of Alex and how the Latino player would be, how he would be viewed in this whole thing. So that's why every single person in baseball was shocked, because Pedro did an amazing job of covering the game, always being honest, but being a friend still, of like knowing I'm going to have to deliver a hard story, but knowing that I'm going to do it with integrity and being genuine, that our friendship would not be intact. That to me, I think about him, a family man, always talked about his family. I don't think anybody, loved his kids and praised him as much as he did. Always would talk about, all of his kids, his wife, and then his love for Cuba and his love for baseball. I think that that's just something that when he would talk about the game, he loved it. And he's going to be missed because he's one of the titans of baseball in general, and he just happens to be Latino. But we're shocked. I think we're still trying to get through it of, what happened, and my condolences to his family.
Yeah.
Howard Bryant had a wonderful story when he started his career. And I mean, he talked about being in the clubhouse, writing a story. The headline was changed. Tony La Russa was the manager at the time. And Tony went in on Howard Bryant at that point because, he was like, how could you do this? Whatever. He was upset about the headline, even though he was not responsible for that headline. And Pedro Gomez comes out and was like, hey, you know what? Like, leave the kid alone. Why are you trying to embarrass him? And the fact that he didn't even know Howard at the time, and he came out in his defense. He was the only one who came out in his defense, and then showed him the ropes and took him under his wing, and they stayed friends ever since. So I think that just says a lot about the person that he was, just on a human level. And there's a lot more stories I'm sure that we're going to be hearing about him in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things that so many people came out and praised, was his integrity and his genuine love for the game. And Ozzy, as you mentioned, his family, his son Rio is a player in the minor leagues. He was a big advocate for the MILB, and it is unfortunate to see what has happened there, but just to know that he was a true fan of the game. And again, our condolences to his entire family. He will be sorely missed. And now on to some baseball updates. On Friday, it was revealed, big decision 2021, Trevor Bauer decided to reveal on YouTube via his website, Momentum, that he was LA bound. Now, there's a little bit of drama here if you happen to be a Mets fan, because there was a bit of an East Coast, West Coast rivalry here. He had kind of made it seem as if it was just between those two clubs, and he wasn't really sure where he was going. And then in a big Twitter apology, he said that he woke up Friday morning truly not knowing which coast he was going to reside and play on, and that after a 5-hour conversation conversation with his agents and his managers, he finally decided that LA was the place. He's coming home. And he said that, he's sorry that there was some media packages that were leaked online to give the Mets fans and fan base false hope that he might be Big Apple bound for Queens. But in an apology, he is donating $40,000 to local New York City charities, which is a very nice move. Thank you very much for that. But when we look at his contract, a lot of people had a lot to say about this. Some people were saying that the Dodgers overpaid $40 million in 2021, $45 million in 2022. Now, we are talking about the NL 2020 Cy Young Award winner, truncated season or not. Ozzy, when you look at the particulars of this deal, did he leave money on the table?
Money on the table. By the way, Trevor, donate 100K. 40 is not enough. Go donate 100. Luke, his agent, by the way, is the best agent in the game, smartest agent in the game. These guys are light head a year of everybody.
I'm waiting for Quinn to get signed.
The Mets fans are the innocent bystander here. Okay, I don't know if it was leaked on purpose or if it was leaked, but I know that the Dodgers saw the leaking and said, "Oh boy, we really want this guy," and they took the bait, and it went up. Okay, why it went up? Trevor's at $40 million. This is why I admired his agent. Okay, you take Garrett Cole to $40 million, Mookie Betts, you're like, wow, you expect this. Okay, Mad Max at 29 years old gets this contract. Miguel Cabrera right off the trip, like you expect this. Trevor Bauer, 60 game, Cy Young. He's super funny on Twitter. He does this thing. He markets himself well, but he's Jose Quintana career-wise. Okay, he is. That's what it is. Numbers-wise, speak that way. So I think the Dodgers took the bait. Okay, people were taking it wrong about me on the internet that I was a hater. I wasn't hating. I think his agent is the best in the game. If my son or if I was a major leaguer, I'd call her. I'd switch agents. She'd become my agent. I think Trevor deserves it. He used the media. He used his marketing for a team to give him the money. Do I think that it was a smart decision from the Dodgers to make this move only if they win a ring? I think, at the long run, I think as a baseball conversation, I think the Mets fans are going to love it. They just need Thor, and DeGrom to come back healthy. It's going to be worth their $40 million. But Mets fans, I feel so bad. They're cursed. Okay, I do believe it. They're cursed now. They've always been cursed. I think that I feel bad for them because a lot of people thought Mr. Cohen was going to bring him. He was going to probably be the guy that was going to overpay. Mets fans are desperate. They're confused. They don't know how good their team is or not. I think it's better without Bauer because of the money flexibility. They were the innocent bystanders. It's cool that Trevor's apologizing, knowing that what he did might have affected fans personally, and that's his donation's awesome because some people are going to get something in return. But he was never going to the Mets. He knew it was. He knew it was Ali the whole time.
Did you believe him? You think he was sincere?
If he says so, right? There's nothing I can say to say that he doesn't really feel sorry. He probably could feel bad.
Yeah.
He could feel bad about how some fans were really, really putting their hopes in Trevor Bauer. But I do have to say, Marcus Stroman came out as hey guys, we did do a couple of really big signings like Lindor and Cookie Carrasco. That's not chump change, we did do some really big things. And then Thor is hello, I'm still here too.
Yeah.
So he's guys, what's going on? You act we're some low level team. If he means it, that's fine. I'm happy with the donations as well. When I saw that, I was hey, whatever. That's fine. Giving money to organizations that need it during this time, good for you. It's the best way to really apologize and say, hey, here's some help. Ozzy, I agree. You got $40 million. I want to see a couple, at least 40,000 more. He
was smart at the end of his apology. I love this guy is such a genius. Okay, we were everyone else is in diapers compared to this guy. How he uses social media, they're so good at it. I'm expecting Mets fans to be there and cheering. Okay, even if it's not for me, I guarantee you. Okay, when the Dodgers come to New York, if they do in the calendar year, that's probably going to be one of the best attended games if fans are allowed to be in there.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're going to go there either to boo him, and that's what he wants. He wants that attention of when I come into town, I'm going to be that guy. But again, I said this, and it's funny it came from Stroman. One overpaid pitcher was enough for them. They didn't need Trevor. Okay, right. They didn't need him. I didn't think the Dodgers needed him. When you're looking at the rosters, and you know what's funny about being the villain?
I didn't think so either. And we forget about David Price.
Well, David Price. That's what I'm saying. So the villain, and it's so funny how quickly, okay, the Dodgers became the lovable Dodgers to no one wants them to win the division. Okay? I am so on the San Diego Padres boat. Okay? I am so Padre. I hope the Dodgers don't even make the playoffs just to teach a lesson on baseball. Because here's the thing. From a baseball world standpoint, okay, with the collective bargaining around the corner, there's so many young. What happened if Jose Barrios next year is a 2021 Cy Young? How much is he going to be worth it? Okay? Or Luis Castillo, or any of the young pitchers that are in Major League Baseball in a 162-game season. So now at 40, they're going to say, well, I want to make 43 because his career was based on a 60-game season. This is a very scary contract because now the guys that might be better than him on paper are going to smarten up, and all the agents are going to say, we're going to take a note from this girl's playbook, a page from her playbook, and we're going to use it. And now teams are going to have to overpay. And now the balance of money is just crazy. He's making more money than 7 MLB franchises, 2 of them that are going to be contending for the playoffs. That to me is a scary part.
It's not our money, so
it's not. You know what? I never get mad at players for making money. Go get it. I think she's the best agent. I think that when we had the thing about women in sports, I actually put her on the top 3 most important women in professional sports, probably top 2 in baseball. She went, Scott Boras, who? I was like, Scott Boras, if she would have, again, like that's an agent. When you're the top player in the game and they get you the best contract, I expect that. Like it's like you're negotiating. But when you're him and you just got paid that much money, I was like, this girl's a genius. And his whole team. So good for him. But I think at the long run, the Mets fans are going to say, wow, man, we dodged that bullet.
And props to Trevor because his team is largely composed of females.
He's a genius. He's a genius.
That team. So yeah, I mean, props to him for that. Yeah. And I know that he's had other issues involving, whatever you want to call it on Twitter with younger women, harassment or bullying. But he does have women on his team.
Yeah. Absolutely. Props to Rachel Luba and her entire team. She's certainly a disruptor in the space. I mean, you can't argue with that. She basically took a very arcane industry, sports agents. I mean, that business has not changed in the last 50 years. I mean, Scott Boras came in and certainly flipped it on its head and jacked it up, but she came in and truly redid it with the help of Trevor Bauer. You can't do what she did without a client like Trevor, who is such a polarizing figure. I mean, he is a lightning rod for sure. Personally, I'm very excited that he came to the Dodgers. The Dodgers and the Padres will play each other, depending on how the schedule shakes out, at least 18 times this season. And I'm personally very excited because this just, Ozzy, as you mentioned, ups the rivalry. There is a major rivalry, you guys, brewing between the Dodgers and their, illegitimate stepchild of the Padres that is becoming a little more legitimate by the day, by the season. So I think this is going to be really, really interesting, especially with Manny Machado's harsh words. And then people started, posting Manny Machado's numbers versus Trevor Bauer.
Well, he said it. No, he said it. He said Trevor Bauer's words. He said Manny Machado's my daddy. Yeah, we're in the same division now.
Owns him.
This is going to be the best. This is going to be the best. And I grew up when the Dodgers and the Padres, they had similar teams. Like this is probably the 2 best teams of my time. And I'm 36 years old, of these 2 teams being like in full force, going right at it. They're going to be at their prime, and I don't think it's just going to be this year. When you see the contracts, it's going to be something that for the next couple of years, we'll see, who's going to have those bragging rights in the West Coast.
Yeah. Well, just a little bit of insider front office information when it comes to the Padres. So AJ Preller was just extended. We talked about how long is his leash going to be. His contract was originally up in 2022. Last week, they extended it until 2026 and made him head of baseball operations over there. So that to me just shows that they have full faith in AJ's ability to curate this team. And
manager's in the hot seat now, though. AJ gets extended. If he doesn't do the job right, he'll be looking to make something else. And hopefully with this extension, he'll stop doing interviews in his T-shirt.
Who, AJ or Jace Tingler? Who are you talking about?
AJ, I guess it's a West Coast thing. Every time he's a smart guy. Like
it's a West Coast thing. Leave him alone.
He does interviews in his T-shirt. Like he just a lot of bad.
Listen, it's 80 degrees. What do you want us to do?
I'm the guy from baseball operations. I'm just here. It looks like it's just some kid.
I know, it looks like an intern. Yeah. Let's talk about, so the NL West is stacked when it comes to looking at Sacramento down. But let's talk about the stacked NL East. Marcel Ozuna comes to terms with the Atlanta Braves, 4 years, $65 million with a 5th-year option. This has to be the best case scenario for him, right, Ozzy?
Absolutely. And I know what owner is going to be pushing for the universal DH. Absolutely. You know what? I think they had a conversation. I love when Marcel Ozuna told the general manager, I'm not a big fan of the selfies and all that, but he said, hey, if you wanted to sign me, how come you made me wait this long? You should have just signed me the day after the season ended. I loved it. Because he was being, analytics and sabermetrics help the game so much, but they also ruin it. We pretend that Marcel Ozuna's in a wheelchair. He still can go play in the outfield. Like, he's obviously not a gold glover, but we've had there's guys that are in the league that are way worse than him. So he's not, is the shoebox of a stadium. So like, if he's out there, he's not that much of a liability. So he's got to do it for like 130 something games and then, use him as a pinch hitter when he goes again, interleague play, the National American League, he DHs. I thought it was worth it. The universal DH comes, and if he's not, they're hoping that in the next 4 years that rule is changed, and then you get the back end of Marcel as a DH. But they took their chances. They took the guy that they wanted. I also think he fits really well in their culture, and they realize that. Like, this guy was a huge part of who we are, and we need to go get him to compete. So kudos to them. Marcel's going to be comfortable. I still think that he's going to rake in Atlanta. So great scenario. Good win for both sides.
Yeah, we said it from the beginning, right? Like that's where he's most at home. That was the team that he really, really signed. And I'm happy that he was able to sign. Maybe had the universal DH come up, he would have made more money, but I'm happy that he signed and that he's back with the Braves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that team has so much chemistry and so much swag, and it'll be really fun to watch them. Congratulations, Marcel Ozuna. And also, congratulations are in order for the team Dominican Republic as they take the Caribbean Series by storm. Guys, I have to say, with the Caribbean Series concluding in Mazatlan in Mexico, again, congratulations to Team DR. It's amazing. It is a feat within itself that they were able to complete this series with only one player reportedly falling to COVID-19. What a true model of success when it comes to a season. Now, I know it's shorter than a 162, but still, what a feat. And what sort of message, Jen, does this send to the league?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because our own Jesse Castillo, who was out there, interviewed Eric Almonte, who's a former Major League Baseball player and now the president of FENAPE, which is the players union in the DR. And he said, the fact that we were able to pull this off is amazing. And they had fans in the stands. I think it was on average about 6,000 fans at every game, give or take. And they did it. I mean, they even had a fan get arrested for showing up her breastises. People were having fun and people enjoyed their time there, and the players really enjoyed it as well. And then being able to do it during a time of COVID, providing the entertainment, providing these games for all of us around the world who were able to tune in, I thought it was amazing.
Ozzy, what sort of struck you? What was one of the highlights for you from the series?
You know what? The fact that they were able to pull it off. We always talk about the negative things about the Caribbean Series, but it ran smoothly. They had a great teams on the field. Dominican Republic, once again, Águila del Cibao flying higher than ever. Listening to Ernesto Jerez call their championship victory was amazing. Yeah. It shows you how the growth that we've had in the game of baseball, not only on the field with players, but also executives, operations. We're good. Latinos are getting better and better every day. And hopefully this shows the league of, we're not the same people we were 20 years ago, maybe an operations standpoint that we can't pull off, tournaments or games. They just did it. So hopefully that opens up the eyes of Major League Baseball of, man, they're doing something really cool in Latin America. Let's be a part of that a lot more. But a great Caribbean Series. Super excited though. Dominican Republic is the Caribbean Series host for the next one. So I'm pumped because that's another great location. So again, 2 back-to-back awesome Caribbean Series. I'm looking forward to the 2022 one.
And the fact that we had like a lot of big leaguers.
It was awesome.
Had a great season. I had a great time with the Caribbean teams, and he ended up getting signed right after. So I mean, a lot of these guys, I'm thinking there's going to be more signings coming from the Caribbean Series, but it was a lot of fun to watch these guys. We didn't have WBC, but we got Serie del Caribe.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta love it. All right. Well, whether guys were playing in the Caribbean Series or whether they're just staying warm and in shape in their personal gyms during the offseason, it is no doubt that guys need to stay in shape and get ready for spring training. So, Jen, you have some fun social stuff for us here.
Yeah, here we have a video of Miguel Cabrera and Wilson Ramos are like training buddies, and this video of who did it better, because it was like the squats, and Wilson was like, get me, show me, work now. And I definitely prefer Miggy's.
What is Wilson doing? Is that even healthy enough? Mickey looks in great shape, guys. Anyone doubting Miguel Cabrera is going to be in top shape for the season, he's ready to go. I believe Wilson signed with the Tigers as well, so they will be teammates. Again, I don't know if that's healthy enough or not. I don't even know if that's right posture. There's very awkward extensions there by Wilson. But again, these are the teams that keep teams out of the playoff. And Miguel Cabrera, a fan of the show always, but we root for him, and we need him to be healthy in order to hit his milestones of 3,000 hits, 500 home runs, and he looks in amazing shape. So these two guys, they're bringing it. It's around the corner.
Miggy looks in better shape than he has in a really long time.
He has to. At this age, they all have to take a page out of the older players, that you're only going to play as long in the game of baseball as your body allows you to do it. So I know that Wilson's going to have a better year probably being around Miguel Cabrera. Miguel makes guys better, makes them work harder. So I like this. And again, I don't know if that's proper form, but hey, as long as he doesn't get hurt.
Hopefully not. I don't know. It's quite concerning to me. A few red flags raised. All right. Well, always good there with the social channel. She always gets the best stuff. All right. Taking a trip down to Tampa Bay. Tom Brady punches his 10th ticket to a Super Bowl. He's got 7 rings, you guys. He's 43 years old. Is there anyone greater than Tom Brady in the game of football? I know you all watched. And unfortunately, it really wasn't the matchup that we all expected it to be. When I heard the name Mahomes and Brady, I got super excited. It's the old guard versus the new. It's youth versus experience. And in the end, experience won out in true Tom Brady fashion. My goodness, I hope he retires after this, because how do you top this? He proved his point. It was all him. It was never Bill Belichick. It was always Tom Brady. So Jen, when you look at a guy like that, somebody who can absolutely put a team on his back and basically say, guys, you want to go to the Super Bowl? Come with me.
Yeah, I mean, totally. There was this meme. It's like, Tom Brady picked a random team and was like, "Hey guys, you want to go to the Super Bowl? Come along, and you want to win it too? Yeah, I'm the guy for you." And I agree, Julie. I thought it was going to be a different type of game, but I always felt like they were going to win. Tampa was going to win. Having Tom Brady, having the experience that he has, there's something about having experience and about knowing how good you are, and then maybe having something to prove on top of that. I feel like, I mean, Mahomes, obviously, he showed the type of quarterback that he is in that last quarter with those incomplete passes. I call them drop passes, because those passes were amazing. I mean, he wasn't even looking at where he was throwing, and he made amazing passes. But it was a game, and I know people weren't really enjoying it as much just because Tampa was up by so much. But it was fun. It was nice to see Tom Brady win another one.
It was. I started to feel a little bit bad for Mahomes, but then in the back of my mind, I'm like, listen, the kid's got a whole career. He's going to be here again.
Yeah.
Right, Ozzy?
No, absolutely. I always root for the older guys, because in baseball, in a sport where we kick guys out and maybe sometimes a little bit too early, I love that Tom Brady's mindset, of a winner. The guy knows how to win. I was rooting for him because he's dedicated his age to get prepared to play professional football, any sport. Past your 37 years old, it's tough, and he did it. If you could write a perfect script on when to walk away, we were talking about it with Ozzy and Oni and everybody in our family about sports. This was it. Mahomes is 0-2 versus Brady and 6-0 versus every other quarterback in a playoff Super Bowl scenario. So this is a perfect time for Tom to step away. But I don't know if he can. I think that great athletes like this, we have to see them, struggle, miss the playoffs, and that's how they walk away. But hopefully, he says, what, I've had enough. I can walk away on top. But for me, it's that factor of when we look at teams and we look at guys who are a little bit older, and sometimes we stay away from them. That is the it factor of going in and having that experience. And we saw it. We saw a team from Tampa that had a lot of guys that they were in their primes maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and they came together and had more experience. We saw the younger team kind of melt under the pressure, in the big game. It never happened. So Tampa, an older team, I keep saying this. It reminds me of the Washington Nationals, that everyone does not count in that division, but it's the old guys could do it. It's the Twins getting, Nelson Cruz back. When the White Sox look in that clubhouse and the other side and they see Nelson in the on-deck circle, that's when you say, oh, my God, he's still there. And it haunts you. And I don't care. Analytics cannot measure that. And that's when the guys with experience bring that factor. And that's what I think about Tom. And you know what? Not many people have brought me so much happiness as Tom Brady has, from my sophomore year in high school in a Super Bowl to watching a Super Bowl with him with my 2 kids. I was like, this guy's that good. I was in high school partying it up through college, and now I'm here sitting watching a game with my 2 kids, and this guy's still doing it. That's just amazing.
Absolutely. Well, to round out our show today, in honor of Black History Month, we would like to honor one of the players from the Negro Leagues, this time a woman. This is a wonderful article that Jen brought to our attention in honor of Mammy Peanut Johnson. At just age 18, she was scouted by an official of the Clowns, which was a Negro League team. She said, all I knew was that I was playing professionally. It wasn't the Sandlot anymore. And I began to learn more about the Negro Leagues. She got the nickname Peanut from an opponent who tried to intimidate her by saying she just looked like a little peanut on the mound at just 5 foot 3 inches tall. And so the name stuck. But so wonderful to honor not only a member of the Negro Leagues, but a woman. Right, Jen?
Yeah, no, one of the things that struck me about this article was that it mentions that she actually became friends or a mentor kind of to Monet Davis, and even was with Monet at the ceremony when her uniform was put into the Hall of Fame. She was there supporting another young woman in the sport. And another thing that I was thinking about was we talk about it here a lot about having more women in baseball and possibly seeing a woman play Major League Baseball, but she and 2 others played in the Negro Leagues at the highest level. So actually, there have already been women playing baseball at a professional, high major league level. It just so happens that they were in the Negro Leagues, but we've already had that. So who's to say that we're not going to see that moving forward in the next couple of years? Because it's happened. It's not like it's something that never happened. And I mean, the Negro Leagues were really ahead of their times because they had women owners, and they had women players. And for whatever reason, obviously it's because of integration, but it didn't continue. I would love to see that happen now with Major League Baseball.
If I had $50 million, to invest, I would find a girl, and do a scouting, and I would have her learn a knuckleball, because I am a true believer that gender does not have anything to do with you throwing a knuckleball. Okay. So you can become a knuckleballer and be a female, because usually it's all about the speed and the strength in the game that obviously has gone up in the speed. But I think everything comes back. If you bring someone that could be a Team Wakefield and move the ball, Charlie Huff style, it could be a female. No one's ever just taken and said, you know what, I'm going to become a female knuckleballer and I'm going to go play college baseball and I'm going to get drafted. Trust me. That position. No, I've thought about this a lot. That position is possible. But the great thing is when Major League Baseball said that the Negro Leagues was going to be the level was going to be considered Major League Baseball, people didn't think it was a big deal. Oh, who cares? It's not a big deal. It is, because this is when history's changed, because by this young lady playing in the Negro Leagues and the Negro Leagues now getting integrated into Major League Baseball in this history books, it means that a woman already has played at the Major League Baseball label. So, any young girl that's out there practicing, just learn a knuckleball, you got a shot.
That's right. And you can check out videos on YouTube of the 2016 Fox show Pitch, which featured an African-American female on the mound throwing just that, a knuckleball. Thank you so much for watching this edition of La Vida Baseball Live. We appreciate it. And we look forward to all of your comments. Leave them on our Facebook page. Let us know what you think on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. We always look forward to hearing from you and answering any questions you may have. For Ozzy and Jen, I'm Julie. Thanks for watching.